ran down the stairs, so maybe we'll see him later. So good morning. Welcome to ABC Yoga. I'm Amy. Bill next to me, and of course we may see an occasional cat. So it's all about back to the basics this morning. We can do fancy poses, can balance on your hands or various postures, but we're gonna explore some of those basic postures, and let's first get grounded and stretch out our backs. So taking our brick, we have the 3 different levels. As most of us are just getting out of bed, I always recommend going down 1 level, then your body might be able to do comfortably. So sitting, coming onto our back body with our knees bent, we'll take our brick and put it in our lower back, not at the waist, but at the lower back. The feet are at least hip distance apart. Just spreading out those toes, rooting through the heels. We turn our palms up to the sky. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Gently ha out the breath. Ha. Squeezing all the air out from the belly. 2 more like that. We breathe in. Mouth open, gentle ha. Please take 1 more sip in through the nose. Mouth opens, gentle exhale. Ah. So we take these initial few breaths, just allow ourselves to become grounded, setting our foundation for the day. And we want to allow ourselves to come into our bodies. So out of those thinking minds into our feeling bodies, this next hour is just about opening up the body, opening up into our breath, trying to quiet, still the mind, and just be aware to the signals around us, what our body's telling us, being gentle if we have a tender heart, not getting caught up in the chaos of a busy day. And starting with a quick quote this morning as you continue to let go. Back to the basics. Life's journey is to unknow which you accidentally came to know of. So let's take another inhale through the nose. Nice long ha exhale. And gently take the brick to the side. Extend the legs, reach the arms up overhead, and just stretch out through the fingers and the toes. Maybe yawn. And then we'll hug those knees into our chest. Big toes touching. Finding your elbows, maybe your wrist creases, and gently rock the head side to side. We unhinge our jaw. Our emotions like to hang out in our jaw and our hips, so just let that jaw relax side to side, maybe lick your lips. And we'll cactus our hands out to the side. See if you can get the back of your hands to touch the floor, and just drop your knees to the right. Allow that lower back to release. Wiggle your toes. Squeeze those knees gently together. Engage that core. Feel the breath in the body. Relax the face. And we'll take those knees back to center. Eyes are soft or closed. And just take them in the opposite direction. Allow the body to soften. Feel the shoulders and back body connecting to the floor. We squeeze those knees together. And maybe take that internal gaze, but just move your head across that right shoulder. Feel the breath. One more in breath. We let that go. And we take those knees back to center and gently rock that back body side to side. And we'll cross our ankles, come onto our hands and knees. Fingers are spread wide. Let's tap the tops of the feet awake. And we'll gaze over the left shoulder, find that left heel, those right ribs fan wide. And we'll take our gaze towards the front and take it to the other side. Straightening through those elbows, engaging those arm muscles, feeling the toenails touch the floor. Now back to center. We exhale, drop the crown of the head towards the floor, push the shins and palms into the earth, lift that back body a little higher, then reach our heart forward. Eyes high, open up those collarbones, beautiful. Then the navel pulls in, we round that back body. 2 more. Feeling that breath in and out through the nose. Beautiful exhale, chin towards your chest. Straighten through those elbows. 1 more, inhale. Exhale completely. We'll tuck our toes under, lift those sits bones, and just pedal out those feet. Alternating, bending those knees. Opening up the arches of the feet by lifting the heel as high as possible. Steady rhythmic breathing in and out through the nose. Then let's pause for a few moments of stillness here in your downward dog. So a slight bend in those knees, lift those sits bones a little higher. Your head is in line with those arms. Shake out that head. Draw those heels a little closer to the floor. Keeping those hands where they are. Let's walk our feet to the heel of the hands. We'll heel toe those feet together and lift the heart. Find that halfway lift. Beautiful long spine. Those knees bend. Crown of the head towards the floor. 2 more. We find that gorgeous halfway lift. There's the mountain lion. Crown of the head towards the mat. 2 more. We're breathing, lifting, exhale, and softening. 1 more inhale. Exhale the air completely. Then rise. Those lines of energy out through the fingertips will bring our prayer to our heart into Tadasana. So hands at our heart center. Pausing here, take a moment to set an intention to your practice. Back, maybe just back to the basics. Seal that in with that next inhale. We let it go, flutter the eyelids, allow the hands to soften along the side of the body. Then we inhale. And forward fold, Uttanasana. We find that halfway lift. Step into the high plank. Pause here in your high plank. Maybe drop the knees to the floor. We pitch our heart a couple of inches towards the top of the mat. Option to release the knees to the floor or gently draw the chest all the way to the mat. Elbows squeeze in. Hands alongside the chest. Tops of the feet root. Forehead to the floor. We move from the back of the heart. Just finding that baby cobra. Warming up that little back, that lower back a little more. Forehead down. Audible Ujjayi breath. We inhale. Exhale completely. 2 more. Sip in the breath. Open up the collarbones. Squeeze those elbows in. Let go. Release on the exhale. 1 more inhale. Can you hover the hands? Gorgeous. Forehead down. Tuck those toes under. We engage those leg muscles. Then we press all the way to high plank. Engage that core. Gorgeous downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing here. Shake out the head. Opening up the backs, the knees, the heels become a little closer to the floor. Then let's lift that right leg, bend the knee and stack the hips. Shake out the head, straighten through those elbows, lift that right knee a little higher. Then that right leg extends. We step that leg forward, lower the left knee to the earth. Untuck the toes, hands alongside that front foot. Then we'll draw the hips back, lengthen over that right leg, flex the toes. 3 more like that. We're moving with our breath. Just bend through that right knee, lift the heart. Pull those hips back, warming up those hamstrings. Flex the toes. 2 more. Nice breathing this morning. Hips draw back, toes flex. Last one on this side. We bend through the knee, open up that left hip flexor. So we'll tuck the left toes under, lift the leg, and just step that right leg back, high plank. Steady breathing. And downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Left leg lifts. We bend the knee and stack those hips. Shake out the head, feel the palms, rooting through the forefinger and the thumb as you lift that left knee a little higher. Then we lengthen through that left leg, step it forward, right knee to the earth, untuck the toes. So melting through those hips, lift your heart. We'll draw the hips back, flex those left toes. Feel that right shin rooting. On the next breath, we bend through that left knee. Our heart lifts. Pull those hips back, warming up those hamstrings. 2 more on this side. We melt through that left knee. Heart lifts, look straight ahead. Hips draw back, we flex those toes. 1 more, gorgeous, we breathe in. We'll pull those hips back, exhale. And just take a bend through that left knee. Right toes tuck under. We lift that right leg. Step the left leg back. Pause for a moment in the high plank. Then lift those sits bones, downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. Shake out that head. Back to the basics. We lift that right leg high. Step it forward into our warrior 1. Inhale. And palms reach towards that center line. We lift those arms a little higher. Draw those floating ribs in. Gaze straight ahead. And let's melt a little further into that right hip. We engage the outer edge of that left foot. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands down. Right leg back. Pause for a moment in our high plank. Now option to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Our left leg lifts. We find warrior 1. Right heel on the floor and rise. Palms towards that center line. Left hip back. Right shoulder forward. Settle into that left thigh. Now can you straighten through those arms a little higher? Steady breathing, eyes straight ahead. And we release hands to the mat. Left leg back, pause for a moment in your high plank. To low. A cobra or up dog. We meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Enjoying our breath. Noticing where it's going in your body. So we clean out those cobwebs. Our inner landscape, we're making more space, getting in touch with that feeling body. Please take 1 more in-breath. We let that go, bend the knees. You walk, maybe hop to the top of the mat. Maybe just go slow this morning. We find that halfway lift and fold forward. We inhale, lift our hearts. And forward fold, swan dive, take your time, gorgeous. Halfway lift, Step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. A cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Right leg lifts. We find warrior one. Root to rise. Then hands down. Right leg back, high to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Left leg lifts. We find warrior one, this side. Root to rise. And hands down, move with your breath. Take your time, high to low. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Eyes are soft to the back of the mat. Feeling that breath. Feeling the expansion of the body. Letting go and softening on that exhalation. Please take one more full inhale. We let it go completely. Bend those knees, look forward. Step or hop to the top of the mat, halfway lift. And we fold. Use that in-breath to rise. And we'll swan dive forward. Take your time. We find that halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. Moving with our breath, we find a cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Our right leg lifts. Warrior one. Ride that breath all the way up. And we'll open into warrior two. Settle into those hips. Softening those shoulders. Hug the muscles to the bones. Relax that jaw. Soft eye gaze over the right fingers. One more breath here. Then hands down, right leg back, high to low. A cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes are soft. Left leg lifts. We step it forward into warrior one. We rise and then open into warrior two. Soft eye gaze, left middle fingers, left fingers. Settle into those hips. Making sure that chest and hip points are facing the side of your mat. Soften those shoulders. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. Then hands down, left leg back. Take your time, high to low. Cobra or up dog. Only the downward dog. Soft eye gaze. Rhythmic breathing. Even though we're back to basic postures, you can always add extra push-ups. This is your practice. But we don't have to do fancy balancing postures. Really finding that time to go a little deeper into your own practice, honoring where your body is. Let's take one more inhale. Let it go completely, bend those knees, step or hop to the top. We find that halfway lift and we fold. And it's time to sit into that chair. Squeeze those knees in, lift your heart, protecting the back by tucking the tail under. Now let's extend those arms a little higher. Hug those muscles to the bones. Now let's sit a little deeper. Can you see all 10 toes? Now lift those arms a little higher. And we'll take our prayer through our heart center and fold. Crown of the head towards the mat. Shake out the head. Halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Right leg lifts. Warrior one. And rise. We open into warrior two. Settle into that posture. And we'll reverse. And then take the hands to the floor. Right leg back. Passing through high plank to low. Take your time, cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Our left leg lifts. Moving with our breath, we find warrior one. We open into warrior two. Let's reverse on the inhale. And then hands to the floor. Left leg back, taking our time. High to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog. Quieting that mind. Enjoying that rhythmic breath. Letting go of tension. What can you soften in this posture? Maybe it's your knees. Letting go of holding in that jaw. Please take one more breath here. We let it go completely. Bend those knees. Look ahead. We jump or hop to the top. Halfway lift. And we fold. Let's sit into that chair again. Energetically squeezing those knees together. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. Look straight ahead. We inhale. Hands behind you. Squeeze those knees. Lift your heels. Now drop those heels. Sit into the chair. We lift. Eyes straight ahead. Hands behind you. Lift those heels. Squeeze those knees. Two more. We're breathing and lifting. Hands behind you. Lift those heels. Find that balance. Last one. Breath in. Gorgeous. Hands behind you. Find that balance. Squeeze those knees. Look straight ahead. And let's sit into that chair. We bring our prayer to our hearts. Full inhale. Let's twist to the right. Using that leverage of your left elbow on the right knee. Spin your chest a little higher. And let's expand everything. Lines of energy through the fingertips. Right hand lifts. We bring our prayers back together and take it to our heart center, back into our chair. We lift and twist. And expand. Use that right elbow against the left knee. You spin your chest, maybe eyes towards the sky. We take our prayer back together and sit into our chair one last time. Hands to heart center as we fold. Shake out that head, halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High plank to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Now take those knees into the center line. Right leg lifts. We squeeze the knee to the nose, shoulders over the wrist creases. Then extend. 3 more like that. We breathe in, activating that belly. Push the toes away. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. We find that length. Last one. Knee to nose. Now we pulse 5, 4, 3. Look between your hands. 2. On 1. Step that leg forward all the way up into our crescent lunge. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. Those floating ribs come back into the body. We're looking straight ahead. Beautiful tall spine. Now bring your prayer to your heart. We'll push off that back leg into Virabhadrasana 3. So take your time. We level off those hips. Now everyone can lift that left leg higher than you think you can. Still breathing here. Now let's extend our arms, taking flight. 3 more breaths. So softening through that right knee, upward dog in the chest. We take another full breath in. So nice. With control, we find our way back into that high crescent lunge, and then hands to the floor. Beautiful work. Right leg back, high plank to low. Cobra or up dog, downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Hug those big toes into that center line. The left leg lifts. We squeeze the knee to the nose, shoulders over wrist creases. Engage that core. then push the toes away. 3 more like that. We breathe in. Exhale, we lengthen. Last 2, warming up that body with our breath. We push the toes away. Now knee to our nose, we pulse. 5, 4, 3, look between those hands, 2, and on 1, we step that leg forward. We find that foundation and come all the way up into our crescent lunge. Palms facing towards that center line. You can always cactus those hands, but draw those floating ribs back in. You're zipping up that core and bringing your prayer to your heart. We'll push off that back leg into Virabhadrasana 3. Look straight ahead. Lifting that right leg higher than you think you can. We soften through that left knee. Relax the jaw. Now let's extend those hands, taking flight. Upward dog in the chest. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. Back to the basics. 1 more inhale. And with control, we step back into that high lunge, that crescent lunge. And then hands to the floor. Left leg back, high to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Walking the hands and feet into the center of your mat. Feet hips distance apart. Let's find that halfway lift. Big fingers, peace fingers around your big toes. We let go of the body, hinge from those hips, elbows to the side. Shake out that head. Take a breath in through the nose and just bubble those lips. 2 more, we're breathing, relaxing the jaw. 1 more inhale here. Exhale, make some noise, and then pause in stillness here. So I'm blossoming through those sits bones, making more space in that pelvic cavity. So the core is engaged in and up towards the spine, but energetically you're pulling those sits bones apart, creating more space. We draw the weight more into the balls of the feet, trying not to hang out in the heels or hyperextend anywhere in the body. Let go of that head, shake it side to side. And then we'll shake it up and down. An option to stay with our toes. We can slide our hands underneath our feet or take your hands behind the calves, finding your finger pads hanging onto your wrists, maybe finding those elbows, but noticing that we want to hang out in those heels. Bend the knees a little more. Give the hamstrings a break. Find that breath. Maybe your chest is connecting with the top of your thighs or not. Maybe explore bending those knees a little more. We're trying to honor where our body is. Ahimsa, non-violence. Two more breaths here. Please take one more inhale. We let that go. And taking the finger pads to the floor, take a toes out on a 45-degree angle, and we'll find our malasana, our squat. So sit down, our heart lifts. Can you feel those toes? Maybe giving a little lift under those heels. Squats are one of the best things you can do. So we're gonna go from our squat to standing. We'll take 5 of them. So look straight ahead, root through the feet. We'll extend our prayer up and then slowly lower down. Take your time. Hips are heavy. 4 more. Rooting and lifting, releasing, Coming all the way back down. 3 more. Breathing and softening. Last 2. Beautiful. 1 more here. Let's come all the way up and bring our prayers to our heart center. Heel toe those feet together. Samastitihi. Lick your lips. We'll flutter those eyelids open. We're going to find a child's pose. So halfway through class, let's come back to grounding from that movement. Sitting into our heels, our hips are heavy. We rock our forehead side to side. Belly's super soft. Back to the basics. So keeping your hands in that rooted position on the floor, or we'll find our elbows, prayer right over our head, and you can take those fingers up and over towards the back of your mat. If you want to have a little more of a chest opener here, you can line your hips up over your knees and just melt that chest down. Feel the toenails. Steady breathing. Let's take 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. We'll let that go. And then gently coming onto our hands and knees. And just draw those knees back, hips distance apart. We'll extend that right hand high. And we'll thread the needle. Take that right ear to the floor. Maybe soften through the eye gaze. A gentle wringing of the abdomen, the stomach, those internal organs. Getting our digestion to move. Please take 1 more breath here. Let that go. Then we inhale, extend the hand, and lower it down. Bump those hips side to side. Now the left hand lifts, and we'll thread the needle the other side. Left ear down. Feel the back of the left hand, the toenails. Can you press the shins a little closer to the mat, opening up the tops of the feet. Couple more breaths here. 1 more inhale. Let that go. We ride that breath up. Nice. We'll lower that hand down. We'll just tuck our toes under. We'll come to the center of the side of our mat. We're just going to extend that right leg, bend through the left knee into Skandasana. So giving those inner groins a stretch. Building on our Malasana here. Flexing those right toes. And we'll come to the other side. So tracking that right knee over the right ankle. Sitting into those inner groins. Flex those left toes. Warming up the calves, opening up the arches. And we'll come to the other side again. So we've done a couple of versions of Malasana and Skandasana here. So maybe take 1 hand to your heart or both hands, or use a brick. Gives you that support to feel that connection. We're building those pathways, coming back to these basic postures again and again. Last side. We flex the toes. Start with 1 hand, use a brick. Beautiful. And then we'll find our way into a straddle position. Those toes turn in slightly, a leg's distance apart, and drawing the crown of the head towards the floor. So lengthening that body, shake out that head. More weight into the balls of the feet. You can stay supported on your finger pads, or maybe take your hands behind the back body, interlacing those fingers, and opening up those shoulders by drawing your hands away from the back body. We protect our hamstrings by slowly taking a gentle bend through those knees, lengthening through the back of the neck. After a few breaths, maybe drawing those hands a little further from that back body. One more inhale. We let that go. Release the finger pads to the floor. We find that halfway lift. Now crown of the head back towards the floor. So a couple options. You can hang on to the outer edge of the foot, maybe the big toes, or we'll take the hands again behind the back body, that opposite thumb on top, that uncomfortable position. Slight bend in the knees, take more weight into the balls of the feet. We're blossoming through those sits bones. Now take the hands away from the back body, warming up those shoulders. Our bodies are so wise, but our thinking, judging, planning mind tells our body all kinds of things. So when we come back to these basic postures and listen to the signals, it's where we can find more ease, opening, bliss, ananda. Please take one more inhale here. We let that go, taking the finger pads back to the sides. We'll take our hands on our hips, engage that core, come all the way up, or just heel toe those feet together. And we'll bend those knees, bringing the fingers towards the floor. Sitting into that chair, we inhale and we come into our eagles. So wrapping right elbow under left, we lift that right knee, cross the thigh, or maybe hook the leg behind. So steer those knees to the right. We tuck that tail and lift those arms a little higher. So soft eye gaze straight ahead. Rhythmic breathing. We squeeze those thighs a little deeper and go and drop those hips a little further down. Finding that balance. And let's release everything. Full breath in. We'll bring our prayers to our heart center and then drop the fingers to the floor. Sitting down, we lift our heart. Nice eagle other side. So left elbow under, spread those toes wide, lift the left thigh up, maybe take that wrap and spin those knees back to center. So our tail tucks, we lengthen that back body, maybe lift those elbows, just gazing straight ahead. Can you squeeze those thighs together, sit a little deeper and a little taller? If you fall out, just come right back in. Let's release everything. And we'll take one movement to find our way back into eagle. Right elbow under, right thigh up and over. Sitting low. That tall back body, just like you're sitting in one of those ladder back chairs. Squeeze those thighs, sit a little deeper. Then we release everything, full in breath. Last side, left elbow under left thigh, up and over. Gently moving those knees more to center. We lift those elbows a little higher. Maybe press the forearms straight ahead. Where do you feel that in the shoulder blades, the tops of the shoulders? Sit one more inch down. And we release everything. Full breath in. Samastitihi, Tadasana, mountain pose, eyes soft or closed. Feel that breath. And we'll find that traditional tree. So the right foot in the inner left thigh, finding stillness. So these basic postures are challenging. Use a wall. You can always build on these postures. Let's reach our arms up. Lift our chin high. Greet this glorious day. Lots of great rain last night in the Bay Area. So thankful for that. And we bring our prayer to our heart and lower that right leg down. So last side. We take the left foot in the inner right thigh. Find that connection. Don't think about pressing your foot into the thigh. Engage the thigh against the foot. Just using different muscles to do the same action. To find that same action, I should say. Hands at your heart center. We open up the collarbones. Engage that navel. Soften through those floating ribs. Maybe lift the prayer. Open up the arms and lift the chin. Back to the basics. Last full inhale. We let that go. We bring our prayer down. Release the left leg to the mat. We cycle through that vinyasa. Full inhale. We melt forward. Halfway lift. Step those feet back. Pause here in high plank. Let's take our knees to the mat, untuck the toes, and just lower the chest all the way to the floor. Left ear to the mat. Back of the hands to the floor. And we'll just bend our knees here and windshield wiper our feet side to side. And taking the legs to the earth, we'll take the right ear down. Quick body scan. Can you release a little more? And taking our eyes forward, we'll interlace the hands behind the back body or use a strap. And we'll peel our chest off the mat. The version of Shalabhasana, a little more back warming. Let's lift the heart a little higher and just slowly melt to the earth. You can release the hand grip, take that left ear down, soften through the body. And we'll take one more version of Shalabhasana. So again, interlacing those fingers if it's available. We'll start by lifting our heart, look straight ahead, and then we'll take the thighs off the floor. So we lift our heart, we lift our thighs a little higher, we lift our heart, lift those thighs. We're still breathing and softening and letting go. Opposite ear down. We'll bend those knees again, windshield wiper those feet side to side. And we'll take one floor bow. So the soles of our feet are reaching up. You use that strap. Maybe you can find your ankles. Let's surrender everything down. Start with the forehead to the floor. Then we'll peel the chest off, take the thighs off the floor, energetically squeeze those knees together. Now we lift our heart, lift those thighs, squeeze those knees together. One more time, lift the heart, thighs higher. We lift and surrender, let go. Opposite ear to the floor. And let's just roll onto our back body. And shake everything out for 10 seconds. Let go of that extra energy. You're not shaking Nice and low.
I don't have any extra energy.
You don't have any extra energy. Okay. So feet flat on the floor, palms up towards the sky. We'll take 2 bridges this morning. Traditional basic bridge to begin. So sides of the feet are parallel. We root those feet. We peel those hips high. Squeeze that imaginary brick between your thighs. Walk maybe those shoulders closer to one another. Toes are spread wide. So really engaging, I always talk about engaging the 4 corners of the feet. In this posture, so many people hang out in their heels. You would like to engage the balls of the feet, big toe, little toe, inner and outer heel, and press the foot into the earth so you can lift those hips a little higher. Finding that beautiful bow shape, so great for your hamstrings, your buns, the heart. You want to pin the outer edges of your shoulders, opening up those collarbones. It's such a perfect posture. Then we lower down. Take your time, unroll that spine, squeeze those knees together. Just take the hands on the belly. You have sciatica challenges. This is such a healing posture. It takes a long time to have that injury, and this is so good to keep everything supple, healthy, and we'll again get those pathways going. So we'll take one more bridge. If you want to go into wheel, please do. Otherwise, we start by rooting through those feet, engage, find that foundation with your feet. Now lift those hip points. Maybe start walking the opposite shoulder under. Take that unnatural grip if that's part of your practice. Press those forearms down. Now lift that front body a little higher. Outer shoulders are pinned. We open up the collarbones. Lift that front body a little higher. Maybe lift those heels off the floor. We energetically squeeze those knees in. Then unwind that spine. Take your time. And we'll take our hands behind those knees as we rock. You know where we're going, into Navasana, into our boat. So we're supported. Maybe extend those arms. Basic posture. Lift those toes up towards the sky. Engage that core. I see Stacy's legs. Great. 2 more breaths. Hi, Diane. Gorgeous. And we'll lower down, squeeze those knees in. Just a modified to this basic posture. So we're going to rock our spine one more time into Navasana. So we find those sits bones, extend those arms, lift those toes, look straight ahead. Breathe for 3, breathe for 2, and on 1, this time we'll cross our ankles, lift those sits bones, vinyasa, or just step into downward dog. Back of the neck lengthens, our right leg lifts, we find our pigeon. Woo! Right knee, right thumb, that never gets old. Untuck the toes. And just walk those hands forward. Let go. Slow down. Lick your lips again. Rhythmic breathing. Two more breaths. Please take one more inhale. Let's let that go. We'll lift our hearts Tuck the left toes under, step into downward dog or cycle through a vinyasa. And we'll take the other side. So left leg lifts and we find our pigeon on the left side. Right leg extends, we untuck the toes and just settle down. Taking the opposite hand on top. Starting from the crown of the head, we pull our shoulders away from our ears. We draw that right hip point to the floor. Notice at the top of the thighs connecting to the floor. Press through the 5 toenails on the right side. Let the belly be soft. Extending that inhalation and exhalation. Please take 3 more breaths here. Last 2. Take a final full inhale. We let that go. Lift your heart. Take weight into that left thigh. We're going to open up into our straddle position. So we find that internal rotation in the thighs. Flex the feet. You can find that extra lift with the brick. And we'll start by walking our hands forward. So just continuing to stretch out those inner groins from Skandasana now into our straddle position. We pull the shoulders away from our ears. So we get the same benefits from these basic postures. And there's a time and place to do more advanced postures, just to give ourselves those challenges. But during these morning hours, when we're just coming out of sleep, it's just a gentle, more gentle way to open up the body. So let's take a walk to the right. Taking hands on either side of that foot. Using the peace fingers, hang onto the toe, maybe find the balance here, or draw that elbow down, left arm up and over. Maybe it connects to the toes, and then we spin the heart high. Let's take a walk to the other side. Peace fingers around the left big toe. Stay supported or arm up and over. So we're still engaging that right hip down. Maybe use a little leverage from your hand. And then we'll take a walk towards the center and we'll bend our knees and find the soles of our feet together. We open them like a book and reach our heart forward. Beautiful tall spine. Steady rhythmic breathing. Nice, we'll lift our heart. And just extending those legs in front of you, releasing that extra flesh. Big breath in. And soft bend in the knees, hinge forward. So drawing that attention to our back body, lifting the kidneys with our inhale. Feel the ribs expand. Imagine that door on the back of your heart is opening. And our hands are extensions of our heart. So the heart is coming down through our hands, our arms, and out through the fingers. Please take one more breath in. We let that go. We lift our heart. Take the hands behind you. We'll bend those knees. Now we'll lift the front of the body. Hips high, knees squeeze in, drop the head. use the four corners of the feet, again, just like we did in bridge, to lift those hip points a little higher. The throat softens. We'll slowly drop those hips down. We'll take one more forward fold. So full breath in. Softening through those knees, crown of the head, one day touching those toes. Maybe not this lifetime. Two more breaths. Last full inhale. Let that go. We lift our heart, extend the fingers, lines of energy out through the fingertips. We slowly unroll the spine. One last posture here. We find our happy baby. Giving a little more love to that back body. And you can hang on to the sides of your feet. We'll find that straddle position. And we'll slowly allow the legs to come to the floor, palms turned up towards the sky. Relax your face and just settle in. Listening to that next full incoming breath. Gently sigh out. We rock our head side to side. And gently twist the wrists in one direction, twisting them in the opposite direction. And just turn the toes in and out. As we then invite a bend in the knees, giving yourself a beautiful hug. Allowing yourself to come to either side of the mat. Pause for a moment or two. And staying there or inviting yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes soft or closed. Rooting the hands on top of your thighs. What you need to learn are basic types of concentration, bringing more energy into your life, plugging up the holes where you lose energy, the basics of self-discovery, Frederick Lenz. So inviting you to bring your hands to your heart center, forehead to the tips of your fingers, honoring your practice, setting in a foundation for your day, being more grounded in your body, stilling the mind, and finding that connection to our breath. So inviting you to join your voice to seal class with one beautiful Om. We sip in that inhale. The light within me recognizes the light within all of you. Thank you for sharing your practice this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the music, Bill.
You're welcome.
I hope everyone has a great day. More rain is coming. Great to see you. And we will not have class next Tuesday. I have a summit at Salesforce, but There's free yoga. And I will be back on Thursday. We'll be back to our schedule, and just appreciate your